What's up, y'all? Back. Episode 18. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I've been doing the 80-hour peer specialist training from Medi-Cal, which is an automatic upgrade in pay. It's episode 18. I want to thank my new subscribers. Thank the subscribers for y'all being patient. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but I was actually taking a training, and so I'm back. And today we're going to talk about constructive and constructive narrative. And narrative, some people say it's written. I believe that. I believe at a certain point that society or the universe decides on certain individuals based on their behavior, and they manifest this reality. So I'm going to start off with my shared experience. My narrative problem started when I was 12 years old. First place we moved to San Jose was on Carryback. I could tell you, middle-class family. My friends consisted of Japanese, Spanish, Mexican. Always been diverse wherever I lived. Then we moved to Tully Road. And on Tully Road, across the street, we had people from Germany, black and white couple. Next to them was my friends. And I'm not going to say their names because I don't know if they're still alive. I don't know what they're doing. And I don't want somebody coming back to me saying, man, you talk about them, they da-da-da-da. I understand that. I think ahead. And on the corner was some more of my friends. And then behind me from Texas, the twins was behind me. They were from Texas. They were Mexican, but they were natives. They were cool. And then next to my friends on the corner were Herb and Sue. And they were they came from a concentration camp, actually. And they ended up being, to me, the coolest people on the block. I'm gonna give you an example. Get into that before I get into the narrative thing. They had taken a liking to me, and they have this New Year. They had this thing where they cook sushi, rice, things of that nature. And the first time I was in their kitchen. She was doing that stuff. I was like, man. And I've always loved the food, and I've eaten it since then, and culturally, I just felt like, man, that I fit in, and they taught me a lot of stuff cooking wise. When I was young, it was unbelievable. Great experience. And so, 12 years old, we ride bikes, and I got my bikes. I actually have jobs. I cut grass and stuff, so I buy bike parts. I have no reason to steal anything. And so this particular day, I'm in the garage, I'm working on my bike, doing my thing. My friends ride up. And so when they ride up, we talk, and we do it. Yeah, where we going? It's like, yeah, we take it off. But I could tell they kind of nervous. And not surely after I looked up and was like kind of nervous. Here's the cop cars. Whoop, whoop. Two of them pull up. And they get out, and they're just like, hey, this is that. Could you guys come down here? We had some bikes stolen, from the school behind there across the street, because behind where they lived was a school. And you can't make this shit up, man. These dudes are idiots. Anyway, so they steal some bikes. And I don't know this. And this is what I say about constructive and constructive narrative. I don't know this. So I'm all puzzled. I'm like, I ain't taking out this, and that. And they trying to sort it out, and they lying. All they had to do was say, whatever, yeah, they stole the bike. So they come in, they start looking at the bike park, doing all of this stuff. But as they're doing this, my dad pulls up. And he pulls up, And he has the craziest look on his face because he trying to figure out, man, if you ever been in a situation like that, man, and I'm over there, I have no clue. I'm green. I don't, like, all of this stuff is silly to me. But they serious because they really stole some bikes. And so they sit me in back of one of the cop cars. Now, I don't have, look, they brought this stuff to me. This is what I be saying throughout people's lives, especially mine. They brought this stuff to me. And I got to deal with it. So as the smoke cleared and all of that, they get them. My dad's like, no, that's his bike. And he went, yeah. And they ended up finding, they had some of the parts on their bike. Anyway, they ended up figuring it out. But from that point, the narrative was started. And it didn't matter what situation got in. We was kicking at ball games or something like that. That kind of stuff always showed up around me. So I started to realize that, man, maybe that's the narrative. You start to believe it. Yeah, and you have other people hype you up, and you're just like, yeah, man, what's up? And you just doing whatever, but you're not living life. And at the end of the day, after you wake up out of this weird fantasy that you're in, you have nothing. You have nothing, and you have to start over. So where are you going to start over at? Because they've already controlled the narrative. Well, for me, I had to change the narrative. And I had to start eliminating certain individuals out of my life. People coming around talking that time machine stuff. People coming around still talking, let's go to the liquor store and all that weird stuff. I had to eliminate most of that stuff. And then once I eliminated it, I had to stop drinking because I talked to you about drinking. People been on this channel, they know. I'm 19 years sober. So drinking is a large part of my equation. Without the drinking, it's like this. I put up a list of all the things I did and accomplished when I was drinking. And put up all the stuff I did when I was under the influence and whatever like that, and I was doing my thing. And I put up all the stuff I did when I was sober and I had a foundation and things were correct. And I realized that over here, I got stuff really fast and it disappeared. And then over here, I started building stuff and started connecting things together. And then I went and got help for my mental health, because I'm going to be honest with you, not everybody, this is not for everybody. Like, not everybody is like, I got to go and run and check my head out. No. This normally comes from trauma, traumatic events. Things keep happening in your life that make you question yourself. And so I'm going to get into just a little bit about what's going on in the news, but I'm not talking about them weird, crazy people. I'm going to talk about the victims, because the victims end up in this space. I know this personally. I work in this field, and they end up in this space. And the stories sound the same. And the trauma is the same. And their lives will never be the same. And so no matter what you say, they took the money, whatever like that, it doesn't matter. When your spirit and your soul is crushed and you feel that you're not less worth than a human being unless somebody tells you, unless somebody hands you a check, unless somebody says, hey, go over here and do that. Because this space is important. Not only that, it's important. I've been in these spaces for years, and there has been no males, no indigenous males, no black males, no males, period, show up in these spaces. And I was so pleasantly surprised when I took this peer-to-peer specialist training that there was 3. And that told me that brothers are waking up. they're seeking help. They're like, hey, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to just check it out. Because all you got to do is check it out, man. We share, we dance, we laugh, we do all normal stuff. And I say normal stuff because boring is normal is boring, but consistency will get you there. And you'll get to the next level. You'll catapult yourself into the future. Because right now that you already know that's what it's about. You know, all that stuff is just a smoke screen. It's all about the future. And I'm going to get back to that. So in these spaces when individuals come like that with the trauma, and another thing in our timeline, for Generation X, I know this in my family growing up, this kind of thing was happening this whole time in our timeline. And you guys got to understand that they were harvesting energy. And the same thing that they're doing now is they're trying to re-traumatize everybody by putting out all this stuff, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. He's not it. He's not the one. You're going to make him the one, but he ain't it. And so anytime that you re-traumatize a certain culture and you put all this stuff, and let's say, now we're not even going to let's say, we already know that it's happening in the community anyway. We already know that it's happening in our timeline anyway. So what does that do to the individuals? No, not the star, not these people that we talking about, but just regular individuals every day that have experienced this trauma. What do you think that does to them? They end up over here. And like I told you, everybody here is more than welcome over here. We deal with fundamental principles. We deal with boring stuff, life stuff, goals, get up, kind of map your day out. Have your time accounted for. Make sure you do the time. Don't let the time do you. Money is time. All of that stuff. Your energy, who you giving it to, why, And is your goals and everything line up and going in that direction where you need to go? So this is episode 18, constructive, constructor, narrative. And the narratives that they're trying to push. And I'm going to conclude with this and the silly the stuff that they keep breaking news. Well, here's breaking news. All of this stuff is because they want the tape. See, there's a tape. Somebody important. And that's the only reason why they ran up in all his places. But what I'm getting is this dude is on something. Because he started, allegedly, or I feel, this is my personal opinion, nothing I say is fact. He started releasing some of them tapes. And because you got to think about it. All they talking about now is like, oh, you think they've always cared about the people? Come on, man. 30 years they ain't cared about no people. But all of a sudden, he started jacking with them tapes. And that's when all hell broke loose. So that's my personal opinion on that. I seriously believe that. They don't want this tape or other specific tapes to get out, period. And if they're already on the loose, then what they gonna do? So I'm gonna conclude with that. This is episode 18, constructive and constructor, narrative, and how you can change that with self-discipline and actually seeking some kind of support or help if you've been through this, you've been traumatized, because you don't need to hear that every day. Look at something else. I'm out.